One thing that I was really interested to talk to you about, and a big reason why I brought you on here, is your background with the military compared to what you're seeing in graduate school. It just seems like polar opposites. I was never in the military, but from what I know of the military, it's got a very pragmatic feel to it. Like, are we getting the job done or not? It doesn't matter how nice the idea sounds if you're not actually accomplishing it, right? And in so much of what I see in grad school, in any kind of critical theory or postmodern influenced discipline, it's how good does the idea sound regardless of if it accomplishes anything we want, right? I'm wondering if you see that contrast.
Absolutely. I think about that all the time. I had a moment the other day in class where we were discussing a book that we were reading, and several of my classmates were kind of talking about how it was making them feel very emotional. And for me, I had a hard time resonating. I'm like, guys, this is just a book, it takes a lot more than that to push my button. It's not, obviously I have empathy, I've seen a lot of things, but I just feel like my tolerance for emotional stimulation is really high. I was in the military, but then I also worked in a jail for a year as an intern in a drug and alcohol addiction program, where I was exposed to a lot of stuff. I volunteered at a women's rehab facility and I heard all of their stories. So I think that perspective, and part of that is the military. The stoic idea for me is like, just have this tolerance built up to where some things just don't reach me. And in full disclosure, sometimes I wonder like, man, is that going to make me a bad therapist? But I don't think it will. I think it's just a matter of like, this is where I'm at and that's where other people are.
Yeah, my work background is in addiction treatment as well. And it was really jarring for me. You're seeing people die of overdose and suicide. And, you listen to people's stories and they're just heart wrenching, or gut wrenching. It's really intense what people live through. And then you step into this very sanitized academic setting and you're supposed to, place a high value on microaggressions and pronouns. And like, it's hard for me to, pretend like this is a life and death matter when you actually have been exposed to life and death matters.